Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel, and welcome back to YOLO Park. We've been taking a look at quite a bit of their material lately, and I am sorry, I know it comes off repetitive, but they don't miss. They just produce good toys. And while we did a few for Beast Wars, we do need to be a little bit fair. I neglect the Bayverse fans from time to time, so let's take a look at how YOLO Park handled their AMK Pro Ironhide. Now, the Pro series means you're going to be getting a lot of features you would not normally expect out of their AMK kits. Now, for instance, you are still going to get the standard tray of parts, and I will admit, this time, while it is still intuitively laid out, I did check instructions just in case, so be sure to do that yourselves. Make sure you get everything correct on this character. But also, you are going to get things like Diecast parts, as well as electronic features. We'll get to those in a bit as they come up. But for now, we just kind of admire how this was rendered. So, Ironhide is one of those really complex movie designs that really isn't designed to exist in a physical space. So whenever someone comes up with something like this, it's just always surprising to me, just like how they managed to actually render the design. I feel like his is like breaking physics somehow. Like there's just something about him that's not supposed to work in the real world, so we figured it out anyway. But no, the design work is immaculate. Let me go ahead and I'll just go ahead and give you the size comparison stuff. Now, I've got my usual comparison of Chop Shop for your standard size Transformer Deluxe. So yeah, you're looking at about roughly 7 to 8 inches tall on the robot mode. This is pretty spectacular, but it's not just height on Ironhide. It's absolute width and just girth. This thing is big, heavy, thick all the way around, as you would expect of someone named Ironhide. So let me go ahead and take this in close. I'll let you guys get a close-up view of the detail work going on here. Look at the face. So the face is actually a little bit asymmetrical, which is not something that a lot of people remember. Even Hasbro, I think, in the early Ironhide toys had a more symmetrical look to its head. So I always like when they actually get that detail correct. Also, little tiny details like the actual emblems that you will note that we'll see from the original real-world truck. Very, very cool to include. Love to see that. You see the license plate tampographed on for California. I can't remember if that license plate is actually referencing something. Things like that usually are, but I don't remember offhand. More importantly, look at how intense the detail and paint is going on this. Like, there's so many layered details going on. There's so much paint to bring it out. Absolute incredible job. Now, it's a Bayverse design. These are extremely detail heavy. So the fact that these render so well and that they get so much of that detail in is nothing short of incredible. Look at all the wires in there. You got all these super tiny integrated details just to make sure little pieces are done correctly. This is meticulous. This is absolutely immaculate. And it's not just sculpt, little bits of paint here and there. So these little bits of copper and gold you're seeing is not just like light reflection. No, that's actual paint detail, just dotting every little bit across this toy. There's a little bit of diecast exposed as well, so that is giving off a little bit of metallic color, but that just kind of plays more into this whole aesthetic now, doesn't it? Okay, look over here at the cannon on the left side. They are different, and even little things like the pattern here, that is a very small detail to get correct, which is incredibly cool. These are designed after the ILM models, so it doesn't surprise me that this was all available. It surprises me that they so accurately recreated it. I will say, just as a point, just so you are perfectly aware, I do have this little piece missing. Somehow I managed to lose the piece before I started filming. So I do apologize for that. So don't take that little gap don't take that little gap personally. You can see the part there. So just in case anyone notices in the comment section, no, I know. I was being a little bit silly. Don't mind me. Look, 4x4. And let me get into the leg details, because like the legs surprised me more than anything. There's so much of the truck just scattered across the entire design, but you're still getting all these heavy machinery details too. You know, like pistons and gears and all kinds of things. Man, everything looks like a machine that could just start feasibly working in the moment. Also, something I'm not going to be able to talk about once we get into the like actual articulation rundown is there's panels all over him to replicate the look of Ironhide in the movie. However, many of them are on swivels or hinges, so you can actually adjust how it looks yourself. And just in case you need it for different posing and whatnot, or if things are in the way of what you need. A lot of this is hinged and swiveled, so that does not become an issue. That's a great little attention to detail, which I absolutely love here. I mean, I can go into the articulation if we just want to get into it, because otherwise I'm just going to keep gawking at all of the paint and sculpted work on this toy. And that is going to be a lot of gawking. So we just need to get into the articulation, just cover a little bit more of what this toy does. So for starters, you do have the ball jointed head, which does have range of motion up and down, left and right, as you can see. Also, mouth. The mouth is hinged. Excellent. Love to see that. In the torso, you do have this side that rocks. It takes that entire truck front with it, which is great to see. Gives you a little bit of extra motion there. The torso itself also just has like a lot of hinges and rocks to it itself. That way you've got lots of room to get that torso working. And again, lots of layers to make sure that this all works. So look at this front piece that has hinged, just to make sure that like when you crunch his chest like that, everything comes forward as it's supposed to. Great attention to detail there. So let's get to the arm articulation, which is, it's a really complicated system to get the arms to work, because Ironhide's arm positions in the original model are insane, but this is accurate to them. So you're going to have a swivel at this point as well, so that you can start raising and lowering the arm, but you have a proper universal shoulder that is hidden behind all of those parts. I think that's the first time I've ever had to rotate a toy around just to properly demonstrate how its arm articulation works. But you do have a bicep swivel. You do have a really good elbow joint as well. Lots of deep bend there. You have a ball joint in the wrist. Also, on the cannons, again, for lots of options, you do have swivels and rocks in there, so you can adjust it as needed. This one actually has a little bit more motion. You can see, like, that's basically just free motion, like completely universal. So lots of little touches there. You do have the waist joint as well. It's not getting a whole lot, but I'm not expecting a whole lot of Ironhide. For the hips, universal joints there as well, but on top of that, the hinges are also on hinges. So you can actually extend the hip joint down if you need a little bit of extra range or clearance, which is a really, really cool touch to have. Let me get that back into position. Okay, thank you. So, the way it is hinged, the swivel for the leg is also basically just underneath the universal joint. You have the knee bend, which has lots of different points to make sure it gets through all of these layers of detail, which basically includes this massive amount of movement on the ankle joint. So you got plenty of range there. Obviously, you have ankle tilt as well. You have individual toes that articulate up and down. And then you got even like little bits of, a little bit of adjustments in the rears as well. There is a ton. And like I said, that's not even counting all of the swivels that are going on in all of the armor to make sure these, all these points of articulation function through all these layers of parts. So, I did mention diecast components in this toy, and they're done correctly on Yellow Park models, so the diecast is mostly going to be found in the lower extremities. So a lot of the legs are diecast, which brings the center of gravity down a lot lower, makes him a lot more stable, which when you have this really kinetic design that Ironhide has, you really do need that. It does keep him nice and stable, gets you some good action poses, and yeah, Ironhide stays pretty sturdy, pretty firm all the way around, which you always want to see. So yeah, it's a fantastic joy. It's just fun. I'm just having fun messing with it now. I'm sorry. I'm getting carried away. I'm playing with a toy. Don't mind me. You're also going to find diecast in some of the actual jointage. So all of this section in here for the actual universal shoulders, that's diecast components. So they're going to stay tighter longer. They're going to be very firm joints, and they're not going to wear down as fast as plastic does. So you've got a lot going on there as well. This is diecast used properly. This is diecast that actually serve the toy rather than hinder it, which is really, really nice to see. Now, what else can we show you? So you do get accessories to mess with. Not anything huge, but you do have optional hands that we can move on to. So this is as easy as just pop off the ball joint and choose which hand you want. So there are symmetrical hands for both sides. Everyone comes with a pair. So you do have a finger pointing hand, which is nice to see on a Transformer who isn't Optimus Prime. It's usually Optimus Prime who has to do all of the finger pointing. You also have these splayed open hands, so you can have a little bit more of a relaxed pose, or reaching out for something. Or if you need a little bit more finesse, you have these. These are articulated, so you have an articulated thumb joint here. You have an index finger, which has a knuckle, as well as a bend in the middle. And then you have the group of 3 fingers that are also hinged twice. So if you need just a little bit more finesse, you've got those as an option as well. I kind of prefer the solid hands. I think they look a little bit more consistent with the design, but I like that they give you the option. Now, you also have the other things that come with an AMK Pro. So you're going to find a little plug on the underside. Where is my camera? You're gonna find a plug on the underside of Ironhide, and that will allow you to connect him onto the display base. Now, there's a couple things about this. So the display base, if you haven't seen it before, it's a heavy metal wire inside here. So this arm has tons of motion, and it is extremely firm. It's not going to go anywhere once you pose it. And Ironhide is one of those characters where, strangely enough, even though he's super bulky, he is from the 2007 movie where they didn't really care about the physics of a giant robot tumbling through the air. So there are some poses for Ironhide that will require that, which is kind of cool. Also, you are going to see the Autobot symbol in the middle. I appreciate the fact that it is the movie version of the symbol, because the detail differences are subtle. They could have gotten away with just a generic Autobot logo, but I'm glad they went the extra mile. Now, here's the part where I will admit this review is going to feel a little bit incomplete. So, this came in during my vacation time, meaning I've kind of been in a rush to get a lot of things done lately, including a lot of these YOLO Park reviews. Essentially, I did not have the chance to go get the batteries to demonstrate his electronic features, but if you've seen the YOLO Park kits on the past episodes, you will have known how this works, and I will at least show you some examples on the screen. So you do need quite a few batteries for him. The head does light up the way that previous YOLO Park toys do, and they will feature the same solid color, flashing, and strobe in the pulsing effect that you would expect out of those, and the same is true of the guns. The nice thing about those is that one glows blue, one glows in orange. So you do have some variety there. It does look like you're firing off different weapons, which is a nice little touch. So, so some apologies that I could not get that included in actual video, but I don't think my camera's great at picking it up anyway, so maybe the photo example is a little bit of a better option. But for the most part, that is your AMK Pro Ironhide. This takes a design that I don't think is physically possible and actually makes it happen in the real world, which I think is incredibly impressive. And I do have a soft spot for the 07 cast of Bayformers, so I am glad to have him in the collection. I'm glad to see him just done up this well. So, this is currently up for pre-order over on the YOLO Park website. If you'd like to order one yourself, I would appreciate you going to the link in the description below. Please use that to get one for yourself. It helps out the channel, and it gets you the toy you're after. At the same time, everybody wins, and I thank you very much for doing it. And I also thank YOLO Park for giving me the opportunity to bring you this toy. So, with all that said, thank you everyone for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.